Evening. I'm so excited that you could join me. I hope that you can hear me. Perhaps you can use the chat on the right-hand side of the screen to let me know that you can hear. Okay, awesome. That's great. Okay, so let's kick this off. So welcome to the Persuasive Portfolio free webinar. This is for ambitious graphic designers, but not only graphic designers really, it's also for user interface designers, developers, business analysts, and also project managers or product managers who want to transition to user experience design and get the jobs that everyone wants, but don't necessarily know how to ask for. So I hope you stay to the end. I've got a special announcement to make, and I've also got half an hour training now with you and then half an hour QA afterwards. So please feel free to ask any questions at the end. Okay, so I want to share something with you today, and this is the most embarrassing interview I've ever had, and this actually happened to me. Really why I want to show you this or tell you about this story today is that things can go wrong and things do go wrong. There is a tendency to kind of gloss over the hiring process, but there is a process which is going on around you, and you have to be aware of the process and how to get the jobs that everyone wants. But anyway, the story in 3 words. Can you guess what happened during this interview? It's a 3-word story. A Welshman, Christian, and amnesia. Anyone know? Okay, so basically what happened was I forgot the interviewee's name. I arrived at the interview, I'd prepared my portfolio, I'd prepared everything else, I'd prepared my cover letter, and I'd prepared almost everything, but I actually forgot the guy's name. His name was James, and I called him Christian. And this was really the most awful thing and the most embarrassing thing that ever happened. But what this did really was it made me realize that you have to practice your interview prep beforehand. You have to know who's going to be interviewing you. You have to know the client intimately before they even know themselves, before you've walked in the door. So most of the work you're going to do is before the interview process, and it's going to be on portfolio preparation, cover letter preparation, and CV preparation, and also the actual getting to know the client before you walk into that interview room. This is all really important. You can't just rock up to an interview without any deep preparation and expect to get the results you want. Anyway, we'll move on from that embarrassing story quickly. Okay, so what keeps me going? A little bit more about me. These are some of the companies that I've worked for. Net-a-Porter and Mr. Porter and The Body Shop and Banner.co.uk are large e-commerce companies in the UK. They're also global. And others that I've worked for. So I've worked for Bloomberg, I've also worked for Springer Nature, their digital publishers, Full Finance in financial technology, and another e-commerce giant, Littlewoods. What keeps me going? So really my clients keep me going. So I've got a mixture of clients that I work with on a kind of international basis, these clients, and then I've got one-on-one clients that I work with to help them get the jobs that everyone wants. They include Max, Sherilyn and Jackie, and also a number of others. Also, what keeps me going are my daughters. There's Kira and there's Francisca, pre-teens and ready to take on the world. So let's take a look at the big picture as far as where your portfolio sits within the process of getting clients. It's actually a 5-part process. We've got here the first stage, which is LinkedIn, and actually gathering the power of LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn to your advantage and how to use LinkedIn to get the opportunities that everyone wants. The next part of the process is the cover letter. then followed by your CV, your portfolio, and the actual pitch or the contract proposal that you're going to take with you to your interview. The portfolio sits within the middle of this 5-part process. So today I'm just going to run you through some top tips on how to use LinkedIn to actually get some opportunities to talk to potential clients. Today I've used the UX Net-a-Porter group as an example here. So basically, if you go straight to LinkedIn and type in, or maybe create a list of the top 5 to 10 companies that you want to work for, and you'll find on LinkedIn that they've got an actual page. The bigger companies do. On the top right-hand side, you can follow them. If you follow them, you'll be able to get daily notifications from them about when they're hiring. You can also set up for email alerts for jobs that they are posting. This is super helpful because you want to be the first to know about these companies when they're hiring before anyone else does. And if you've set up for alerts and you're following them on LinkedIn, you're going to hear about them first. So what do you see when you get to a company's LinkedIn page? You want to definitely check out the career section. So if you're down here, you can see that Net-a-Porter at the moment have posted 57 jobs. You also want to get to know, you want to see how you're connected, because you want to be able to reach out to some of these hiring managers, or perhaps somebody who already works there, to find out what it's like to work there. What you might also find out is that if somebody you know that works at a big company is already working there and you ask them for an introduction to HR, or perhaps they forward your CV and cover letter to HR, that person will usually get some kind of hiring bonus for forwarding your details. So it's in your interest to get to know people and the companies that you want to work for before you actually work there. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you today is the £2 million a Greyhound redesign case study using the STAR framework. I've talked a little bit about this in the previous AMA that I just did. Let me go back. Okay, what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you the detailed version of it, and I'm going to show you a breakdown of a PDF case study that I create to send out to potential clients. And the reason I've got 2 is when you're working on a project in detail, you want to be able to document everything you did. But when you're sending stuff out to clients, for potential clients, you want to be able to just summarize quickly what you did for that client. You don't want to have them trawling through tons and tons of documentation. So what I've done here is, this is the tons and tons of documentation I've put into this case study. This is like all the work that I did with the team that I work for. What you can see here is basically a quick link to what the site used to look like. You can also see what the site looks like now. I've just included before and after photos. You can add these at the end if you want to. They don't have to be at the beginning. I've also added in a quick introduction about current revenues, current passengers, what exactly I was hired to do. You can also see here there's a breakdown of roles, briefs, tools I used, what industry it was, and also most importantly the team that I worked with, and links to their profile on LinkedIn to show that this is an actual real project and the people I worked with are professionals. I've also included here the user interface designers. That's really important because, again, I didn't work on the UI, I only worked on the UX. So here's some of the documentation that was created. Now, I worked on a very specific part of this project. I worked on the purchase path. So what I've done here is I've actually indicated the full documentation here. But what I've done is I've made it very clear what I worked on and what my teammates worked on. And I think this is very important because no man is an island, and most people have, to get stuff done, you work with a team. It's important to show consideration for other people's work, and also to mention their names, and also link to their profiles, just to show the teams and the kind of caliber of people that you've been working with. So initially we created some personas. These were actually created from one-on-one customer interviews. They were recorded. The actual definition of the persona was designed beforehand. So the research team knew exactly what they wanted to find out before they interviewed these customers. As you can see here, the main indicators on this persona were travel attitudes. That's one thing we wanted to find out. We also wanted to find out what their travel experiences were, also their travel behaviors and their personality traits. So this is a very in-depth persona. This is based on a real person with real needs and real experiences. He's also got a real name, and he's also got, you can see here what his preferences are, what his perceptions are of the current brand. So this is the kind of detailed work that I'm talking about when we're talking about the kind of documentation that potential clients want to see, that's going to make you stand out from the crowd. Now, personas are created to inform customer journey maps, and the customer journey maps will inform the design of the website. So that's really why personas are very handy. They're not really just to stick in the office to give people an idea about customers. They're a very strategic document with a very specific purpose. I've also included user flow diagrams. So as you can see here, these are really really for the development team to take away and work on, to see how the user flow is defined, and also for the analytics team to see where they're going to set up particular tracking on the product before it goes live. What else you can see here is sitemap. That's really important, and also how you came to the sitemap, or how the sitemap was developed like this. And again, that documentation is linked to customer journey mapping, what the customer finds most important when using a travel website like this. That's all documented in the research documentation. What else you can see here, the sketches and wireframes and prototypes. So I'm going to just scroll down a bit. These are very scrappy. You can include scrappy sketches within your portfolio. Just take photos of them, put them on the site, and put them on your website, and just indicate, what they were for. As you can see, UX is messy, so the scrappier the better. It doesn't have to be pixel perfect at this point. So what you can see here is the first results page sketch that I started. And then from that, we drew up the wireframes. This is a link to an Axure file. I don't think the link works anymore because this project is almost a year old, or 18 months old. So what I did is I just screen grabbed the wireframes. What you could do here, if you want to, is record the interaction on this and then embed it as a YouTube file. That would be another really nice way of showing how you worked on the interaction on this product, if the product is no longer hosted on Axure. Again, this is the details of the affairs module and how it works, and also the affairs summary page, payment pages, and confirmation pages, paid with credit card. Again, all these modules are based on research, personalization, and actual page requirements from the client. Got here confirmation page. We've included really nice things like we've integrated all the Instagram feeds, and also things to do on the bus. So we had a really nice content strategist that I worked with on this project, and we had basically a free reign of all the amazing things that people might want to do when they're traveling. So we've got We've pulled in books and movies from Amazon, music from Spotify, and free games. So it was a really nice project to work on as far as content goes. Here we've got confirmation page sketches, and then confirmation page wireframes. And then at the very end, what I've done is I've linked to a set of annotated wireframes. And this is really important. This is the interaction document, and this is, this is a complete set of UI designs. So basically, the user interface designer uploaded all his designs onto InVision app and created a really amazing clickable prototype. I also linked to that here. And then underneath that, I've linked to the work that I did, which was the interaction design. And here we have the annotated wireframes and documentation for the remote development teams. And this states step by step how the search fields work, what the customer sees at every point when they type in where they're going from and where they're going to, how all the bus stops are displayed, how the number of customers work, how discounts work, how login works. So again, you can link to projects offline using Azure or Dropbox or any other cloud hosting tool that you want to. Okay, so that's the long form of this case study. I'm going to show you a short version of it. And this is the kind of thing that you might want to send out to clients. I'm not going to be able to find it now. Oh no, it's not there. Sorry, right, 1 second. Let me see if I've got it on my... Sorry about this. 1 second. I think I've got it on my desktop. Just give me 2 seconds, I'll find it for you. Downloads. Here we go. Okay, so what you can see here is a link to, this document is actually a free download, which you can download from the link, which is actually on Slack. If you don't have that, I can post it here. Because you might want to keep a copy of this that you can refer back to at any time. So let me just grab the link for you. And I can post it here because some of you might have just come straight from my email list and might not have seen it. Here it is. Okay, so if you want a download copy of this, please go here and download a copy. Right. Oh, where's it gone? Okay. Okay, so this is the mini version that I send to clients. I don't send clients straight to the full case study, which is password protected. I just want to send them a very quick snippet of the project. And this is how I break it down. And this is how you can break it down too. Okay, this is a STAR framework, as mentioned before in the Slack channel. So you want to outline your project starting off with existing facts and figures and highlighting the business challenges and mission. The T is for the tasks that you created and the deliverables and what the goals were and why. A is for all the activities that you did during the user-centered design process, so actions, what you were responsible for, wireframes, user flow diagrams, and documentation and prototypes. R is for the results, and that's the most important. They need to be clearly highlighted in the results of the work you achieved. They can be quantitative, qualitative, or behavioural. Okay, so these are the facts laid out very clearly. Here's a brief overview, which you saw on the previous document, the more detailed document. Here's a quick overview of the challenge. examples of good documentation. Here are the results. So I managed to, I had to wait about 18 months to be able to put these up here. Again, you have to be patient when you're a UX designer. These are the main results. Also, we won a BMIA award for that work. You might want to put that in there too. That's always an extra added bonus. And here I've also linked to the deliverables. So that was the detailed work you saw in the previous online document. Okay, so that's the end of the mini PDF. The next thing that I want to share with you, go back to, as you can see, my desktop is like, it's like desktop hell. All right, hang on a second, go back to the webinar. Okay, let's go find it. Let's see. No. Oh, crikey. Sorry about this, I won't be a second. Oh, there it is. Okay. Right, here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I just want to say thank you for sitting through the first part. I want to let you know that I've got a special announcement coming up in January, and anyone that's attended this webinar has the opportunity to get on my VIP list, because I'm launching a paid for product, and it's called the 12K UX Design Contract. It's either going to be a 90-minute workshop or maybe a 4-week full-part course. I'm only going to have 6 places available because I want it to be intimate and also just one-on-one, so that I want you to get the maximum benefit from it. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to give you a link to that so that you can sign up. 1 second. Oh, crikey. Hang on a second. I'm going to have to find it for you. Not doing very well tonight. Okay, hang on 1 second. Let me find the list for you. Okay, let me come out of sharing. If you've got any questions, please give me 2 minutes. Have a think about some of the questions you want to ask while I find this link for you. I'll be 2 seconds, all right? Okay. It looks like the site's down. This always happens, doesn't it, when you least want it to? All right, okay, so I've got another idea. I've set up a private Facebook group. It's called Portfolio Rockstars. What I'll do is I'll post the link in there for you. If you go in there, because I would hate for you to miss out. Okay, but I'd love to see you in here as well, because this is where I give one-on-one advice that I don't give outside the community. So that's where we're all hanging out. It's a brand new community. We've got about 20 in there so far, but it's growing fast, and I'd love to see you in there. Okay, so we've got half an hour QA. So do you have any specific questions that you'd like to ask me? We've got Sandy, we've got Renee. Do you have anything you want to ask? Oh, here we go. Sandy, okay, so what's the best way to display your portfolio if you're a multidiscipline designer? Okay, Sandy, what job, have you got a job that you want to apply for? If you, can you post a link in chat to a job that you're interested in applying for? The reason I ask is because your portfolio should be 100% tailored for the job you're applying for. So if you go onto LinkedIn, you don't have one specific in mind. All right, so this is really important. I want you to find 5 or 6 jobs over the next couple of weeks that you think you could do, or that you know that you could do in your heart. You're just not quite sure how to position yourself for. So just off the top of my head now, which discipline of the multi-disciplines that you've worked on would you say is your most that you're most specialized in?
Probably visual design.
Okay, so UI.
Yes.
Okay, so what programs are you using for that?
Um, Adobe Illustrator,
Yeah.
Photoshop, InDesign.
Okay, is your background graphic design?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I would tease out your UI design projects and your web design projects
Mm-hmm.
if you want to work in UX. Is that the kind of thing you want to do? Have you got any titles that you could share with me, perhaps of jobs that you might like to apply for?
Well, I was a senior visual designer, but a lot of my past roles have encompassed everything, even though the title alone just said senior visual designer. It involves UX and other things too.
Okay, so that sounds good. That sounds really promising. Are you looking for a job at the moment?
Um, Not at the moment, but I'm hoping that I can this time around keep my portfolio updated. Whereas last time I was scrambling at the end trying to apply and update my portfolio at the same time.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit like a chicken and egg situation, isn't it? Yeah. So, how did you get your current job, if you don't mind me asking?
It was through a referral,
Yeah.
but I think if it wasn't for the referral, I would still be looking because my portfolio, I think, was a bit disorganized and I wasn't sure what was the best way to kind of showcase my work.
Okay. So the fact that you got in through a referral is a good thing.
Mhm.
Do you feel that, or do you feel that it wasn't, and it's not the job for you, or do you feel that it was a good thing and that?
Oh, definitely. I think I feel like it's a good thing.
Yeah. Believe
So,
me, it's a very good thing, and
yeah.
that's how you're going to get your jobs in the future.
Mhm.
Rarely does anybody walk into a job cold,
Yeah.
especially on sort of digital and creative teams, because you have to have you have to have software skills most of the time, unless you're a researcher, and even then you have to use a lot of software. So the fact that you know you got that job through someone you know also means that if you're out there looking for other work, then you're going to get those jobs through someone you know. So building your network is super, super important. So in the
Mhm.
future, if you have a particular role that you're going for at a particular company, then I would start reaching out, a year or two before you actually make the move, because
Yeah.
you've built solid relationships with people in these companies before you move over. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but I guess while I'm working on my projects, so do you think it would be best to organize them by, my last, 3 or 4 projects, or should I organize them by what my role was in them?
Um, so if you want to focus on web and user interface,
Mm-hmm.
then I would focus on um, the results you got. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but in web design and UI design, what people want to know is what results you got for the clients you went to work for. So in the mini case study that I showed you, you can use that framework to create um, a powerful case study, and I would break it down by a project that you worked on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, because that means if you're going for a web design job, you've got a project in your portfolio which is solely focused on web design and UI design, and you can send that straight off to a prospective client. So if you're looking at categories, I would say the company comes first, and then in your portfolio, so the feature would be the company. So in my case, it was Greyhound or Net-a-Porter or whoever it might be, and then the actual title that you covered, or the role that you covered. So in your case, it would be web and UI design, or perhaps it was web and user experience design.
Oh, what about password protecting pages? Do you think it's better to password protect the entire website so that once a user goes in, then they enter a password and can see everything? Or do you
I really love that idea. And the reason I like that is because you can use your website for so many different things. You can run a little blog on it. You can run like things I like. You can make it a Tumblr homepage. And you can link your portfolio to, you know, some password protected WordPress pages. The reason I like password protected is because you care about the clients you work with. You care about confidentiality. Your work is valuable, especially if you've worked on large projects. And a lot of the projects that you work on in a competitor's hands, you know, could be quite valuable. So I would definitely password protect your work. I would put a note on your website saying, you know, if you want to see further work, please get in touch with me. And believe me, if they want to work with you, they will definitely get in touch with you, and they will definitely ask you for a password. If someone does that for me, I always use that opportunity to reach out and build a relationship first. If someone's asking me for a password to my website, it means they want to talk. So that's a real opportunity for you to get to know them better before you take a dive into your portfolio. It also gives you the opportunity to tease out specific jobs that you've done which you think might be best tailored to their needs. And I think that's a really nice way of doing it, because you're not giving everything away up front. But what do you think of that idea?
Yeah, I think it's great. So would you password protect each page or just one for the entire website?
I would password protect each page. So let me have you seen my website, the WordPress one?
No, I haven't.
Oh, let me show you, and you can see how it's structured. You know, maybe it's not. I'm thinking. Okay. So the homepage of my website is a blog, and I've written 3 or 4 articles there on subjects which are related to user experience and user research, because that's where my focus is. If you click on Praise and Portfolio, I've included some testimonials at the top of the page. And then I've started to list out my work. And I've listed it in 2 places. I've listed it on this page, and I've also listed it in the right-hand column menu. So when you click on any of those images on that page, oh, hang on a minute, that doesn't work. So that one doesn't work. Let's hope this works. Oh yeah. So the edit image I need to reconfigure. But basically, if you click on the edit one isn't working. Sorry about that. If you click on let's say lead UX researcher for Springer Science Business Media, I'll take you to a password protected page. Here we go. So what you can see is under Praise and Portfolio, I've created a page and then I've linked to all my work from that page. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. And then you can see that each one is password protected. So I've given a little teaser, like I've put a screenshot of the cover or the website, and then a quick description. And then I've also included links down the right-hand side to the actual case study page. So this portfolio section is a WordPress web page, and then I've linked, I think are you familiar with WordPress?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So in the Praise and Portfolio, basically that's just a customized URL. So you create that in the header menu, and then I just customize that to link to this page. I found this works really well. This has got me a ton of work. It's very simple. It's not fancy. If people want to see interaction design and fancy stuff, then they can go to the actual live websites and check out the usability and the actual finished project. I know a lot of people say, oh, but the usability on WordPress is not great. Well, you're not displaying usability on WordPress. What you're displaying is, your process. And I found this is a really cool way to do that, and it's just enough to get clients excited.
Awesome.
Okay. These are great questions, by the way.
Great. That's all the questions I had.
Okay. Do you have a link to your portfolio that you want to share, or a link to your website?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oops, I should have added the HTTPS. Sorry, that's the wrong link. It's that.
All right, thanks. I like that, the Sandy Tron. That's really cool. Do you mind if I take a quick look?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, thanks. Well, it says my connection isn't private. Let's see.
Oh, it might be, depends on what your browser you're using.
I wonder why it does that.
Yeah.
Have you tried it on a few? Oh, this is nice.
So yeah, most of the work displayed was the visual stuff. So I haven't really gotten into any UX projects yet, but
okay.
I was in the process of moving my secret projects, which is below. That's my only password protected page.
Okay, that's good. All right, that's excellent. That's excellent. I like the way you've done that. Because you can, when you're in the interview process, you can have this page open, or you can click on it while you're in the interview and show the client, that this is a potential client, that these are password protected, and that you're just going to show them relevant ones.
Yeah.
And again, that gives off good. That's a kind of it's a good way of displaying your work.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of, in my next portfolio redesign, on the main page of my portfolio link, on the bottom where it says secret projects, I'm thinking about taking all of the projects in my secret projects and just displaying those instead of how I currently have everything divided by category.
That's a good idea. I think what might be nice as well is if you wanted to, where it says portfolio, if you have a drop-down menu, you could include everything else.
Right.
Because you are a visual designer, so what might be nice to see is some kind of some images on the homepage,
Uh-huh.
even links to your secret projects if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe have
Okay.
just like one teaser image and a title.
Uh-huh.
Is that the kind of thing you're thinking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be excellent. And you could put all your other categories under portfolio drop-down menu and have
Okay.
your secret projects on the homepage, just one image and maybe a title.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, that sounds great. You could put a title and description, perhaps,
Uh-huh.
just a little teaser.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
totally gonna do that on my next redesign.
Yeah. In between jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you based, by the way?
I'm in San Francisco.
Oh, lovely. So lucky. Okay. Well, listen, thanks, Sandy. It's been really lovely to meet you.
Yes, thank you so much for answering my questions
That's
and
okay.
taking the
You're
time.
welcome. I hope to
Yeah.
see you in the Facebook group. Come and
All
join.
right, will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy. Bye.
Bye.
Renee. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Been a web designer for 16 years, Renee. She's never done any UX work. She's worked for law enforcement agency for 8 years. Okay. Database admin. I have a portfolio site up, but I resigning 4 of those sites on my own. Okay. So what I like about what you've done, Renee, is it says here that you will have to show, okay, you're currently redesigning 4 of those sites on your own just to show what you can do. Okay. So you saw my portfolio.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, got my microphone to work. Wonderful.
That's okay. So thanks for joining us. What I wanted to say was, do you have anything you could show me?
Yeah, let me give you the link.
Okay, that would be cool.
Does that work at all?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, this is great. I like the look of this. Really nice. It's got a nice feel. Okay, so you've linked straight to the site. That's cool.
The first one, the I Am an I site, is my photography site.
Okay.
That one is a WordPress site.
Yeah.
The rest of them, there's 4 others that are websites. Those are some of them are to the actual websites. Most of them are just images of what the site was, just because they're so old they've been taken down.
Okay.
And then I've got other additional links to some photography and some print work that I've done in the past.
Okay, that's nice. So you want to break into UX.
Right.
Okay. So you need to focus on the website work that you've done. Which one out of these on your homepage do you think, which ones are you going to focus on?
The one I'm working on right now is the ASE Kempo Karate.
Okay. Click on that.
That's the first one anyway, and then
Okay,
I'm
excellent, right.
moving on from there.
Okay, so what you can do is you can apply the STAR framework to this. Did you see during the presentation the Greyhound?
Yes.
Case study. Okay, so you could start to apply that to this. So, you know, what you did in the start, what the actual brief was, what the challenge was. You can put those in the text down the right-hand side here. You can, bring it front and center.
Right.
If you want to. If it's confidential and it's a confidential business case, then you put it behind a password protected page.
The sites that I did for the law enforcement agency and for the bank, I didn't put anything on here at all. They won't let me. I can't even talk about what I did there. So I mean, it's something like
okay.
Tell you I have to shoot you. So it's one of those situations.
Was it design?
Most of it was, yes.
Yeah. So do you have any friends or colleagues that could recommend you for other types of work like that within the industry?
As far as recommend for UX design or
Yeah.
I'm in Springfield, Missouri, and nobody here even knows what Springfield or what UX design is.
Okay.
So it's
So what about the banks and companies that you worked for?
Those were mostly development.
Okay, so development should have a clue about UX.
Okay.
Do you have any contacts within the development teams that would know if they have a UX team?
I still know some people that I worked with. It was a contract position that I was there for about 8 months, but I still know some people that work for that company.
Okay. Do you know if they have a UX team?
Not that I know of, but I was kind of isolated in my little group. So
Yeah, because I think it's interesting what Sandy was saying before is that she got her job through someone she knew, and as a recommendation. When you're starting out, or if you're going back or backtracking through your career, you really need to rock those contacts
right.
that you've already made, especially in the industry. And it's going to involve a hell of a lot of research. And I would dedicate, whatever you can to every week. I'd put aside a certain amount of time every week just to get in touch with old contacts. Get on LinkedIn and find, join all the user experience groups you can. Find out, what development teams you used to work with, what members of those teams have moved on to other companies that may have UX departments. Because you need to go and position yourself so that you can get hired.
Right.
Where's the nearest big town to Missouri where you are?
Probably St. Louis or Kansas City.
Okay. How far away are they?
They're both about 3 to 4 hours away.
Okay. Driving?
300, 400 miles.
Okay. Are you prepared to travel to work that far?
No.
It's the experience you need.
Be a 8-hour-a-day commute. I mean, I could move there.
Yeah.
I've considered just throwing out resumes and applications to places in, Seattle.
Do you have family?
All of my family is here in Springfield.
Yeah.
So it would be a matter of, as far as I know, I would have to just move to Seattle or Chicago or any place else that would have UX positions.
Here's the thing: you could. It's good to live in the sticks when you've already you kind of done your career,
right?
And you're highly skilled, and you're moving out of the city maybe to set up your own consultancy, where you don't have to rely on kind of the knowledge-based economy and working with teams to learn how to do stuff. Because you need to find a role within a team which is highly experienced, where you can get as much experience as possible, and they might not be in your town. When I started out, I was living in Germany, but I was working in London, so I had to actually live in London away from my family for the time that I was working, and that was sometimes 12 weeks on the trot. So you have to make some sacrifices and be willing to make those sacrifices to succeed. it's going to be really hard for you to get a UX role and learn as quickly as you need to, being stuck out, somewhere which doesn't even know what UX is.
Right. I've come to that conclusion.
Yeah. So you have to decide, am I going to stay where I am, or am I going to make a move? Because I'm like fish where fish are. Does that make sense?
I guess right now I'm concentrating on trying to get my portfolio up and ready so that somebody can look at it, and then send out applications to other cities and other places.
Yeah, but you know what? There's not just UX. I mean, how would you be fine just doing web design and developing from home?
I would, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
if I could live on the salary that I could get for doing that, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I would focus on that for now. And then once you get your foot in the door, try and, if you want to decide whether you want to focus on staying freelance, or whether you actually want to go and work in-house for people. Have you decided what you would rather do?
Well, my ideal position would be to work for a company remotely.
Yeah.
Again, it's just going to matter. It's going to depend on salary.
Okay, so I've got a list of those companies. Do you want to see it?
Oh, I would love to.
Let's have a look. Remote IO. Actually, I found this site the other day. It's really amazing. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. Here's a list of every company in the US as far as I can make out. So you're really lucky there. Okay. There's a ton of companies on there, and they're all remote based.
Oh, that is wonderful.
So just dive in, just get your case studies together based on what you've learned tonight. Use all the free material I've got. Go back into the Slack channel, just gleam out every single gem that you can find, any freebies, whatever you can get your hands on, and then start reaching out to these companies. Find them on LinkedIn, find out how you're connected, reach out to people who work there, pick their brains, call them, stalk them until you've got that job.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
That's all right. I hope it was helpful.
Oh, it was very much so.
Excellent. And come and join me in the Facebook group, because we can talk about this till cows come home there as well.
I will do that.
All right.